Did you know ahead of time that your pregnancy would be high risk?
My heart rate is dropping, and I hear the other nurse that's monitoring my child say, "We're losing the baby. He's decelling." I shouldn't have to say I'm in the medical field to get people to listen to me. It should just be enough of me saying that I know my body to get you to listen to me. The unfortunate part about that is, again, it didn't only affect me. My son now has a lifelong scar. So where people tell you it's a period, the end, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed.
Welcome to another episode of the Black Birth Stories podcast. We are still coming to you live during Black Maternal Health Week 2025 from the Black Maternal Health Summit 2025 here in Dallas, Texas, hosted by the More Milk Organization with Dr. Denise Horridge. I'm honored to have Dr. Charmeka here with me today, and we will get right into the questions. Where were you when you first found out you were pregnant, and what was your first thought?
Well, my journey to pregnancy was a little different. I have suffered with PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome, and hypothyroidism. So actually, I had to go through fertility to get pregnant. Initially, they thought I would have to take the IVF or in vitro fertilization process, but I was given, after they learned that I had fibroids, that I was able to do intrauterine insemination. We actually did not get pregnant with the first cycle. We did get pregnant with the second cycle. So it was actually a phone call that said the second cycle we were pregnant. However, if you know anything about intrauterine insemination, not sure if it was us doing the actual do or if it was them planting the specimen into my body.
So it sounds like quite a high-risk pregnancy. Did you have any concerns going into it? Did you know ahead of time that your pregnancy would be high risk? And how did that shape your outlook on what to expect?
I did, because outside of having PCOS, or again, polycystic ovarian syndrome and hypothyroidism, I was what you call a geriatric pregnancy or advanced maternal age. I was 39 years old with my first pregnancy and had gotten pregnant for the first time at 36 and had suffered a miscarriage. So I was afraid of suffering from another miscarriage. So with all of the things, not only was I scared of a miscarriage, but also knowing what comes, the birth defects at being a geriatric pregnancy.
What was the hardest part of your pregnancy or birth journey?
Being over age. Being over age, I had to see my normal OBGYN, and then I also had to see a specialist. So I was seeing a provider a lot more. There were a lot more tests done. The good thing was I did know the sex a lot earlier. There were, again, like I said, a lot more tests done. I had to be more mindful of the things I was eating, trying to exercise because I wanted to minimize risk. So I was trying to keep my weight down. So where I heard people say I always ate for two, I was very, very cautious about those things because I didn't want to put on extra weight and extra stressors for the baby. So those were kind of stressful things, just having multiple appointments, having to miss work and or go to work late with those things, and trying to keep my health good.
Was there anything that surprised you about labor, delivery, or postpartum?
So because I had fibroid removal prior to this pregnancy, which is what they believe, and also with having PCOS is what caused my first miscarriage, I didn't actually labor. I had to have a scheduled C-section. So that made that part a little more, I guess, less surprising because I knew when I would go in to have my child. So I guess the answer to that was no, not actually.
These are the worst mistakes Black women can make when choosing an OBGYN, assuming they'll automatically prioritize your safety, ignoring the signs when they dismiss your concerns, and not having a plan to advocate for yourself. Sis, I've been there, and that's why I'm so glad I found the Mocha Maternity Survival Guide, Choosing the Right OBGYN. This guide gave me everything I needed to avoid those mistakes, from conversation starters to tools for assessing their care. It's the ultimate roadmap to make sure you're seen, heard, and protected. Don't take chances with your health. Get your copy today and make the choice that could change everything.
What role did race or culture play in your care or lack of care? This is a loaded question.
Yeah, it is a very loaded question. So, again, because I had a C-section, because I had fibroids removed, they don't like you to labor. So I had to have a scheduled and or planned C-section. When they prepared to give me my Duramorph or to numb me to prepare me for my C-section, the nurse anesthetist came in and said, "Hey, I'm about to place your Duramorph." Again, that numbs you, for those out in the medical world, from your waist down. She told me that she had Zofran, and it was in case I became nauseated. I asked her, would she go ahead and pre-medicate me with the Zofran, because I'm storybook, and 9 times out of 10, I'm going to become nauseous. She denied me the Zofran. I asked her again, "Ma'am, can you please just give me the Zofran?" A little backstory, I am medical. I do not like to tell people that I'm medical because sometimes it, one, offends them, and or two, makes them nervous. I still didn't tell her I'm medical. I just asked her again, "Could you please just give me the Zofran?" She then denied me. We went through the process, and just as I thought, I became sick immediately. My heart rate started dropping. I started feeling nauseous, feeling like I needed to vomit. But I immediately became numb from the waist down, started trying to turn myself, but of course I couldn't. She told me to calm down, but of course I'm sick. I couldn't calm down. My heart rate is dropping, and I hear the other nurse that's monitoring my child say, "We're losing the baby, he's decelling." So of course, at this point, my scheduled planned C-section now becomes an emergent C-section. And because it becomes emergent, the doctor doesn't have enough time to properly evaluate the position of my son. When he cuts my child's scalp or head. Less than 24 hours, my child is given staples. He now has a forever scar that has become a topic of conversation before he allowed his hair to grow out, where kids were picking on him about where that came from. And so this just the disparity of care and having people not listen to you. And like I said, I don't always like to play the health care role, because I shouldn't have to say I'm in the medical field to get people to listen to me. It should just be enough of me saying that I know my body to get you to listen to me.
Such important points, and unfortunately so senseless that you had to have that experience. Thank you for sharing it with our audience, though, because that will prevent the next mom coming behind you from having that experience. It's so important for us to know that your doctor may know what they think they know, the nurses, the assistants, but you are the expert of your body. No one knows your body like you do, and it's important to use your voice. But that must have been such a tough situation on the operating room table to be empowered to use your voice. Was your physician in the room at the time and could speak for you?
No, it was just myself, the nurse anesthetist, and again the baby's nurse. The unfortunate part about that is, again, it didn't only affect me. My son now has a lifelong scar. And as I mentioned, it could have been worse, because we know that that part of the baby's brain is very unprotected. Mm-hmm. I thank God all the time that he's healthy, and it wasn't as bad as it could have been. It could have been a lot worse. He only has a scar. There is no birth defects or any further brain damage.
And his test has now become his testimony.
Exactly.
Yes, absolutely.
Think about it. How many hands helped raise you? How many voices spoke life over you? How many arms held you close? Black family is deep, and at Melanin Maternity, we celebrate every single part of it. We're not just a shop for mamas. We're a love letter to the entire village. From keepsake birth announcements that honor your newest blessing, to new dad gifts, to presents for the grandma who still prays over you, we have gifts that tell your family's story. Looking for holiday gear that actually represents us? We got that too. Because whether you're the one having the baby or the one making sure the baby always has love, you deserve to be celebrated. Shop Melanin Maternity on Etsy today by visiting melaninmaternity.etsy.com, because our families, our stories, and our legacies deserve the spotlight.
What's one thing motherhood taught you about yourself?
I'm a bad mama jamma. I'm resilient. But these are things that I already knew, but that God put me here for a purpose. God has the final say.
Amen.
But it did teach me, like I said, that I am a bad mama jamma. That when people told me before that you will never have children, this wasn't going to happen for you. But where people put periods, that's for God to say. I had the faith. And where I thought it was only going to be one, he actually blessed me with two. Wow. The first one was a fertility. The second one just showed up and said, I'm here now. And that's how we live every day. But he, again, gave not only my son a testimony, but again, like I said, the first one was fertility, and the second one was I'm here now. So where people tell you it's a period, the end, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed and you believe, you keep showing up for yourself, you can have what you say. So
amen. You're stronger than you think, and greater is he who is in you than he who is in the world. Yes. Thank you so much for sharing your story with me. I am honored that you said yes, and you have blessed someone coming behind you. Thank you again for joining us on the Black Birth Stories podcast, and be sure to tune in for next week's episode. Bye for now.
And thank you for allowing people to tell our
Thank
stories.
you. Thank you.
Want to go deeper? The conversation doesn't have to stop here. Join Melanin Maternity, our digital Black birth community, where you'll get expert guidance, real support, and a sisterhood that sees you. From live Q&As with birth experts to empowering discussions with other Black mamas, we've got you covered. Click the link in the description and step into the community you deserve.